So, a couple of hours ago, while I was starting to watch the Sylvester Stallone interview, slide, in fact, this one, and something triggered my memory. He was just talking about particular things of his youth, his past, the past. In high school, so I was restricted to maths and society, which is not 2-unit maths, it's the one below it. It's actually very, very difficult because I wasn't doing very well in math, because I couldn't concentrate very well in maths and society. So I had maths in society, which was the lowest maths you could do, and in fact it was actually incredibly difficult. It was really difficult. It was not easy, and I kept failing. But during lunch times, and when I would spend hanging out in the library at Canterbury Boys, I had a couple of friends who were in the higher maths. So they would do it. It was 2-unit maths, there was 3-unit maths, I think it was 4-unit maths. Oh, I don't know if that exists. It was 4-unit science and it was 3-unit maths. And I would ask them if I could have a look at their 2-unit textbook. And they obliged, and they let me look through their 2-unit textbook. And they said, you're not in our classes. I said, I'm doing maths and society. They said, why are you doing maths and society? I said, I can't seem to pass it. And I would look at the 2-unit math textbook, and what I ended up doing was, my friend of mine, he said, see if you can do this, see if you can do a chapter, and I got through a chapter with great ease. And I really spent time on it, like a few lunch times. He said, you can do this. He said, just ask to be put up a level. The thing was that the head of math didn't like me. His name was Mr. Lynch, and had orange hair. He had orange hair, and so the thing was, when I was looking at the 2-unit math textbook, I got the hang of it very quickly. It was much easier than maths and society for me, much easier. Got through the first chapter, and started doing the second chapter, understood it. My friend, a couple of friends and an acquaintance who said, Pat, you're actually good at this. And they looked at my maths and society textbook, and they were like, geez, they make this stuff complicated for you, don't they? Geez. They said, what is this? They said, it's easy, but they're not making it easy. It was very difficult. And so I went up there. I thought it'd be so easy. I went up to the head of math, Mr. Lynch, and I said, and he didn't like me. He didn't like me. And he said, what do you want? And he literally didn't hold back. He said, what do you want? And you know what? Looking back now, I can give you. I'll give you a few choice words. Give you a few words, and maybe just have a few words for you, huh? Maybe just have a few words for you. And I said to him, I don't like maths and society. And he said, okay. And I said the last few lunchtimes now, I've been up in the library, and I've been looking through the 2-unit textbook, the current one, and I said, I've been looking through my friend's 2-unit textbook, and I think I said who it was, because I'm fairly sure it was Richie's who I looked through. I think I looked through Richie's, and I think it was I don't remember which way it went, but I said the last 2 lunchtimes now I've been in the library, and I've been looking through that textbook, the 2-unit math textbook, and I can do that. It's actually easy for me. I've actually got the grasp of it now. And he said, really? And I said, yes. He said, can I just transfer it to the 2-unit maths? I'd like to transfer it to the 2-unit maths. And I didn't like my class anyway because it was, I was being antagonised in class. There was bullies. I was being antagonised. It was not a relaxing atmosphere. It was a terrible bloody atmosphere. It was not a good atmosphere. It was not a good atmosphere, and so I even remember where the room was. It was in the middle section of Canterbury Boys. I don't even tell you where it is. You got that. You get to Canterbury Boys, Holden Street. You get to the main entrance, go down. So you've got the oval on one end, and you've got the entrance on the other. You've got all the science laboratories on Holden Street, right? And you've got that First Avenue part, but you've got the middle entrance. So you go through the middle entrance, to my memory. You walk up those stairs, and if you walk up the half flight of stairs, you get to the second floor of Canterbury Boys. It was on the top level. And there was a middle corridor on the top level. And I was right at the end of that corridor. And I had this Greek teacher. It was Mr. Acton. Mr. Acton. But as I was saying before the memory cut out, Dulwich Hill. And I said, what math do you want to do? They said, what math do you want to do? And I said, oh, I had a mental imbalance in those days. And for some reason it was right there. I could have said 2-unit maths, and I said, oh, maths, general maths. And they didn't say what maths were you doing. They said, what maths do you want to do? I'm like, oh my god. I could have just said 2-unit maths, please, and for some odd reason, for some weird reason, I just went, oh, because did I suddenly forget the struggle that I had with maths and society at Canterbury Boys? Did I suddenly forget that I'd spent a few not lifetimes? Maybe I have struggled with maths in different lifetimes, but I suddenly forget the lunch times I spent walking through the chapters of the 2-unit maths. Oh my gosh, that was a bad decision. And in year 12, I struggled with it even. I failed every exam. Everything in maths and society in year 12. Everything in maths and society in 12 was terrible. It was really, really, really bad. It was dreadful. I've always been dreadful at it. 2 plus 2 equals 4. I'm very good at that. The higher the numbers get, the more complicated it gets for me. And it was actually even like an hour later or a day later, I'm like, why didn't you just say 2-unit maths? They would have just let me do it. They would have passed. There was some fucking weird moment. There was a really weird moment during that year. I was doing physics. I mean, I could have just done everything totally different. But for some reason my brain said you've got to do some of the same things. Why do I have to do some of the same things? Why do I have to do some of the same things? Why? And I chose physics. I was terrible at physics, but I chose physics. Now, at Canterbury Boys, I had bought something from Dimmicks. It's called past HSC exam papers. And my physics teacher was a Gestapo. He also happened to be deputy principal. Didn't get along with him very well. Well, we didn't get along. There's a difference. He didn't have a lot of time for me. He was neutral toward me. He'd been with his boys for years because he'd been there for years and I was a newbie. I think he knew I was from Canterbury Boys. Anyway, a weird moment happened. And I wasn't doing well in class. And then he gave us a past HSC paper. He said, complete this at home, bring it back. I'll assess it. Just so happens that past paper was in the book that I had bought from Dimmicks. It was in the book. All the answers were there. So I passed myself. I gave myself an 80% pass. And I thought, I won't make it too obvious. I gave myself an 80% pass. He looked at it and he was like, oh, he either contacted Canterbury Boys or he couldn't be. I don't think he was even bothered doing that. He just probably realised I had the book. But a teacher that I didn't know, maybe she was interdimensional for a few minutes. I just remember one day, and it was after that I'd completed that test, that with the past papers where I just fudged everything, where I just really, and there was a teacher who I didn't have for anything, and she was probably about 35 at the time. I was 17, she was about 35, and because I was 6 months younger than everybody else. Everyone was always 6 months older than me in school. And she passed me in the hallway, like as I was walking towards physics class. So I can't even say it. But physics class, and she said something really weird to me. She said, "I know everything." She looked at me when she said, "I know everything." And I'm like, and also says, that played on me for a while. Every now and again I remember it, every now and again I remember the way she said it. She was like, "I know everything." She looked at me, she's like, "I know everything." And they took it like the one sentence, and she walked on. And there was one day in physics class, and I don't even remember what his name was now. It was a cowboy guy, not like cowboy, is a bit of a cowboy guy, just like a bit of a cowboy in a sense. And he had this. Anyway, he said something in physics class one day. He said, "Does anybody have any ideas about what I just said? Any thoughts?" And I said, "I haven't the foggiest." I said, I would use statements that would be on me at the time because I get them on TV and things like that. And I said, "I haven't got a clue." I said, it's embarrassing to admit this. It is embarrassing to admit this stuff. I said, "I haven't got the faintest idea." I said, I said it loudly. He looked at me like, and everyone else sort of looked at me like, momentarily, and he was like, yeah. As we go on in life, we think back to the past, and we think back about things that we said, and we feel embarrassment from that, and we can even feel humiliation from that. And we look back over scenarios, we look back over situations that we've been in and think, "Oh, did I really say that? Did I really say that?" It feels surreal that I actually would have said that. And so there is a pain that goes with that, and an embarrassment, a pain. And I think that is hell. I mean, people say hell, but I don't think there's an actual place called hell. There isn't. And when you cross over, if you find yourself in hell, it'll just be your manifestation of thoughts. And you can actually when you get tired of being there, you can just leave. When you get tired of that existence, when you're like, "Okay, well, I'm a bit done with this now. Let me out." And the manifestation will change. You'll go to the other realm. But hell is it's your embarrassments in life. It's the situations in life that you it's the situations in life that you have fail is a very not good description. Just embarrassments and pain and frustrations, also embarrassments and humiliations, actually. But yes, 2-unit math I was quite good at, and I just found it easy. I couldn't even tell you what's in the textbooks now. All I know is that at the time I found it easy. 2-unit maths and society is fucking horrible. It's fucking horrible. It's so yes, for the 7th of October 2023, and Spotify, and yeah, so yeah, I know all about I know all about it. Oh, yes. And, yes, yes, yes.